May I interject and do a MITS one?
Sure.
Okay. So, as you guys know, MITS is absolutely changing everything and sucks and is horrible. But it doesn't have to be, because this is going to help us tremendously. So we will go ahead and just do this like normal. It all came in on a package tag though. So my bag of Chiba Chews now has a package tag on it. So when I create my PO, my quick button, new, and our vendor, we're using Chiba Chew, and we are some address. So we'll create the PO using the appropriate one, and obviously in yours you'll have it named accordingly. This is a basic live. We're doing it in our dispensary. We'll put in the amounts, which we know is going to be $335 because our invoice says so. The external reference number is going to be our invoice number. This is invoice number 3. And yes, these are physically in our possession. Add the PO. Now, in our first item, our sativas, we received another $25 because we're really consistent in our ordering. But now they have a plant tag with them. So within our adding this item, which is already created and we've already been using it and it's very familiar to us, we can now associate the plant tag that it came in on with it. Bam. And we'll just, it automatically reads it, adds it in there. And so you can see it on your line items now. So this is something that's awesome that you can see this constantly, because if it's not associated with an item, you can find it very quickly on an invoice, in a PO, because you're not going to see it. This is very hard to miss. And then the indicas, we'll do the same thing. Adding it as a basic line item, we got 25. They have a different package number because it adds up to a pound, theoretically. So now I'm seeing the 2 different invoices on here. I still have to add my 10. So you said freight, there's also a delivery. Oh no, there's not a delivery.
That means you created it on your own.
Oh,
So she created her own item. That's what she kind of runs it under, if that makes sense.
yeah, we have a delivery one, but freight works. So we received 1 payment, $10, and added on there. So now our PO's happy, everything's good. However, now these items, this PO tells me what tag they came on, but within my system, when I run my report, it's not going to tell me if I sold any, because I have to go into my physical MMJ item. So I'm going to open up my sativa Sativa Chiba Chew, and this is the MMJ item information. So this is its actual little home, everything about it, everything you put in, but you have to physically edit the item so that it has this tag associated with it, which is right underneath the barcode. And so by doing so, you are now telling the system, this item is this tag. And so at the end of the day, when it pulls your reports, if you sold anything out of this, it's going to show me this item and then report it to MITS for you. So
why did you have to do that and didn't take it from the last screen you were at?
because this is just my PO. This is telling me on this PO it came in with this tag. This has nothing to do with this actual item as being sold.
When you scan that tag the first time on that PO, it should be integrated so it jumps right into that.
Okay, so
Yes
what
and no.
happens
The
if you
reason
have-
why it doesn't,
Yeah.
the reason why it doesn't is I order 10 brownies from Sweet Mary Jane, and they come in as number 10. Now I have 3 left, and I make a second order, and I have 5 more come in, and they come in under a tag number 12. So I have 10 and 12. I have to wait till I've sold all of these from 10 before I can associate 12 with the MMJ item. So you have to deplete the source before you can actually change it. So it's really important that you're either scanning and saving these to the PO so you can just grab like this and change it once you know that it's depleted that source. So that's the reason why it doesn't automatically do that, because then it would be a nightmare cluster. So we've added it to Sativa. Go ahead.
So every time we receive anything, then we have to do that, the step you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The first time you'll do it automatically so that you know that it is the same and it's all done together. But after that, it's as you sell out. So you just have to keep it 100% separate. If your back stock is in the back of your building, just make sure that you keep it sealed until you know that this other bag is depleted. So let's see, we'll throw this guy in there really quick. So now, those are not only on the PO, so I know that this PO is the one that's associated with these tags, but now within my system, they're also going to pull these when I generate the report. So let's do an invoice really quick.
Can I ask you a question real quick? Okay, let's just say you have 3 in front of the house and your shipment just came in. Somebody comes in and orders 4. So you need to break open your new bag.
So you'd literally have to, right then and there, if they want to purchase the 4, if you want to wait, put the 3 on there, and then change it and put the 4th one on there. And Adilas will automatically have the different ones associated because it would have been rung in prior, but it's one of those things that it's up to you if you want to say we're out of right now, you can buy these 3, or you can go ahead and do that process and allow them to wait a second.
So this is,
So you cannot put the second tag in until after all the first stuff is gone.
After you bring it in.
Do you have to complete that sale of those 3, or can you have the invoice created and then?
You can have them
Go
on the
back.
same invoice. So what you just
Yeah.
make sure that that invoice line item, because that's going to be associated with your invoice, it's going to be on there. So you can literally edit the individual item so that you then can just change it to the new code really quick. And I'll show you guys really fast so that you can visually see it. So.
Might be so perfect to have those like one-time only items, because then basically when you ran out of them already, they would disappear, and then your next time would come in, and you wouldn't have to go in and edit your item. It would basically be like checking in your new one into your from your back stock.
I think that that's a great idea. I love where that could go, but that creates a one-to-many relationship between a master item or Sativa or Ica or whatever it's called. Okay, so basically, Indica, okay. One-to-many relationships. We deal with them all the time, and we've got some great ideas. But I love seeing it, and the more pressure that we see on that, the more that we will actually kind of try to play along with that. That's great. That's great. So,
Okay, so our queue. Our queue is where we pull patients from, and this is where your admin will put the patients once they've been entered. And you literally will just start by hitting New Cart. You can also, if for some reason you're in the Classic homepage or the Grow homepage, anything else other than this, you can select these little people hanging out in the corner. This is your virtual waiting room, people hanging out. We're going to go ahead and start a new cart for Hasni Mubarak.
you said that very well.
I'm Arabic.
Oh, okay.
Uh-oh. Mubarak has expired, as we can see. So, again, your main information, which is going to be your who, what you're dealing with. It's his address, his phone number, where we are, who created it, what we're doing, today's date. And then as we move down, we get a little more personalized information. He's not our member. He expires on this day. Here's his code name. If he gets a special discount, it'll display right here. If he's has some special thing that he's tax exempt, anything like that, government, it will actually display here. And if he owes anything, it will display here. So we can either scan our barcodes that we've created and printed. We're going to manually look them up because that's what we have. Here's our Chiba Chews.
So that's under Twice Baked Vendor. Just go ahead and just put, yep.
I forgot that we labeled them Sativa
Yeah,
Indica.
that's okay.
Okay, so the Sativa Indica. Here is our Sativa. Right? I want to make sure I'm grabbing the right one.
Yep.
Okay. So this person really, really likes Chiba Chews. They're getting 25 of them. We can add it to our cart after we've inputted the amount. And now we see our plant tag display on our line item right here. It shows us that it's already associated. Now, if I didn't see that, and I know that it should have something, because at this point we should all have a tag associated, whether it was one we personally created for pre-mit stuff, or if it's moving forward something we've now received. So I'm seeing this, I'm happy about it. Now I'm going to get 10 indicas. There we go.
If your search is too broad, you could always filter additional things at the top, kind of be like, hey, I just need Fujiba. And it would limit that search way down.
All right, so now our invoice is complete. I know I have the tags here. I can simply check out, and it'll bring me to this screen. How are you going to pay me for all of these Chiba Chews? So most of us don't use credit cards, but if you do, you'll usually have a little 6-digit code associated, and you can just swipe your card. I only had 400 on my card. I'm sorry. 538. Fortunately, I hadn't changed in my cup holder, so we have cash there. We create the invoice, and now we have officially done. This is the receipt. Now you can set up an additional page if need be that says create invoice in between this and there. It's kind of a are you sure, which is nice, especially for MMJ, but it also can be a little bit difficult if you're trying to get things rung in before 7. But as long as you see this, you know that your invoice has been created. So at the end of the night, when we go home, and this is just example's sake, so we'll go to the classic home page because we're going to have to go to System Reports, into our View Custom Code and Reports. This is the place where we actually pull the MITS reports, just so you guys know.
I'm sorry, could you
Yeah.
back up there just a second? Okay, so we're going to go to the classic page, right?
Yep, classic home page. And it looks like this, lots of stuff. We're under our System Reports over here on the top right. And from there, we use our drop down to the View Custom Code and Reports. So we view custom codes and reports. We go there. We want to go to the MMJ operations page. And this is what it looks like. This is the Mac Daddy of Information Center. So you have all your sales, all your items, all your plants, how many, what. So now we're going to go into our MITS homepage. This was specially built and it's still being doctored, even though I think it's perfect, but MITS can't seem to get their stuff together. But click on this, and this is what you see, this smiley face. Yep, you have arrived. So we're going to just generate for today's sales from the dispensary, or actually I'm going to do all because I'm not sure where the sale is from. But normally it'll be wherever it is your retail location is. You'll hit submit. It'll kind of flicker. And when you scroll down, you'll see our plant tags. So apparently we've been selling lots of stuff. But here it is. So this is what it looks like, and this is just a rough, the invoice it came off of, just in case you have a question or you're wondering, oh, like who charged $4.43 for a gram? That's crazy. That way you can see, you can edit it if needed, bless you. The quantity, what unit it's measured in. Now when I submit this, it's going to say open, save, cancel. I'm going to open it so you guys can see what it looks like. But normally you just save it into a place on your computer that you know that you're going to be revisiting. It's going to be accessible because this is something you have to do on a nightly basis. So once it opens, I have been labeling them A to M, Adilas to MITS, and then the date corresponding with the sale that I'm reporting. Let's see, file, save as. Can I save this on your desktop? I promise to delete it. All right, and save. So this, it says it may contain features that are not compatible. Hit no. If you hit no, it will not change anything. It'll try to get you to save it somewhere else. Don't do it. And then just go ahead and exit out and don't save any changes. So then you'll go and do your MITs and you'll report the sales. And MITs, is it okay if I log into MITs on here?
Sure. So a lot of these things are basically requirements that have been handed down to us that we're kind of like, oh my goodness, how are we supposed to respond to this type of thing? So I feel sorry for you guys in some ways. I really do. Like,
Thanks.
it's-
It means a lot, Brandon. I have optimism because when I first started in the MMJ industry, it was a cluster as well. And I mean, it was a lot more fun. Smoked inside and there were deliveries and on-site sampling, but they got rid of that. But I mean, it got smoother and easier. They came in with all this regulation and it was a headache and it was really hard. And I mean, it's all new to them too. So I'm sure that just like them, they know that we are people and that if you cut us, we'll bleed, and that they know to be a little bit leery and cut us some slack. And I know that everyone's been getting those emails from Julie, however the hell you say her last name, Post-Kupicki. Who knows? But yeah, say that 10 times fast. So you log in using your badge number, which if you haven't gotten this set up yet, sorry, but if you need help, let me know and I'm happy to do so. And so there's a little section here at the top that says data import. You'll only have this if you're admin, and this is probably most of you guys in here. So your data import, you just click on, it'll drop down, it'll say sales at some point. How'd you guys like the fake snow they had in here? Anybody see that shit? Like you guys are making fake snow? Cool. Now you guys see why I have such a hatred.
It's such a slow, it's so slow.
Constantly, even at 4 in the morning, because I was on it then.
Logs out. I swear.
No, really.
No, it automatically logs you out after an hour. No, like 20 minutes. It's
like
bullshit.
10 minutes. It's like 10 minutes.
It is, because I entered 209 items and lost them all.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, I entered all my stuff and went
When
back
you
to
leave it on
save
for
it.
like 4 hours, you get right back on it.
Really?
Yeah.
That's scary. You need to call them immediately, because that means people can get in your stuff. That's,
Oh, I agree. No, it's.
yeah, not
it
cool.
just happens.
Okay, so you went to data import and then to work?
I'm trying to go to data import, but this website is freaking out on me.
Kate, someone had a question online. They said, they asked, is it at all beneficial to scan the RFID tag in as a JPEG on the PO? Is that beneficial at all?
Like on the physical PO, yes, if it's one consigned package tag, it is nice to put it right in the beginning, but I would associate it with each line item just so that they know that it came in, just with everything. It's easier that way. That's just kind of how Steve told me to do it. I'm sure you could put it instead of the invoice number, but it's not really necessary because there are multiple tags more often than not.
She says thanks.
Yes.
That's okay, so that's great.
Excellent.
Just watching the bottom, it looks like it's looping through something. It's kind of like,
Oh, it's having a seizure. That's for damn sure. I'm like watching her. I guess. I didn't mean to. I'm just gonna, let's just try this.
it's kind of trying to refresh itself or something, but it's constantly.
Government's trying to bug your computer.
Quick, kill it.
Alright.
So I actually really like Dana's idea on some of the packaging stuff, and we will definitely explore some options in there. Making some physical packages, and so you're going to basically say, create your item, you're going to have your sativa piece, okay? And then underneath it, you're going to say, I need to create some packages, and here's the package ID number, and then we're going to allow you to barcode or whatever we're going to do so that it'll be attached to that. And then once you sell it, beep, 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 we'll just basically bring it, kind of turns it into more retail instead of kind of like the problem. This is kind of just speaking from a technical side, but they're requiring almost a detail-oriented piece, but yet we're bringing things in bulk, and we're selling things in bulk. And so there's an instant disconnect between bulk cool, I'm going to stick everything in my little container here. Oh, and when I pull it out, I have to exactly know what it's doing. Like that's that's the problem. It's kind of a mix between generic and real life, and so that's, I can totally see where that would head in a good direction. I love it.
The thing would be cleaner because we prepackage everything, so
Okay.
I mean, we have like hundreds of grams of just one strain, and have to do inventory on that. And like this literally forces you to do inventory basically every night, and have to go count to make sure there's 100 of those in your safe or whatever you obtain. And if you could prepackage into 12, and leave all your packages in your back stock, and only have 12 out at a time, and you are only seeing 12 in your inventory at that time, I just think that would be so much more clean.
Awesome. I love it. I love it. I love it. We've actually already done some thinking on that, but I love it. I love to hear the ideas because it helps us know the whole picture. Does that make sense?
So data import drops down, allegedly, to sales. Click on sales. And it wants to do it. It does at some point. Pathetic, man.
Well, this is like the healthcare program.
All right, well, maybe we will touch back with them. But that's why we do the plant tags, and that's why you want to associate them with the PO, because you have multiples of the same item but with different packaging tags. The reason why you do it within the MMJ item is that's the one that you're currently using, and so it should be pulling from that one when you're doing your report at the end of the night, looking like this. And we know.
So does that report have to be in at a certain time?
No.
Just have to be full.
Yeah. I've called the MMED 3 or 4 times and they never call me back. They have not given me a specific answer. And so I've been doing it, no more than a week have I given myself. So if I miss like 2 or 3 days, I'm like, it's cool. For all they know, I'm not in and I'm the admin person and I can just do it at my leisure.
2 or 3 days at once.
Definitely.
Yeah,
So
they haven't told us if it's supposed to be daily or weekly or whatever.
yeah, exactly. So that's another thing is just
So
use
the
their.
big question is somebody really looking at all that data, or is it just going in the never land and hanging out there?
I don't know if it was just because it's the beginning, but I actually did get a phone call from MMED that was like, hey, I actually see that you're in there right now, and was asking me questions about it when it first started up. So
So somebody is, there is a live person there somewhere maybe.
maybe theoretically at between 7 to 7.
So let's say you got in the mix, what would you do with that page of report there?
What do I do with this report?
Yeah.
I submit it and I save the CSV file to my computer, and then I submit it to MITS. That's what I was trying to do with
Go
So
to
the
MITS.
file that you saved on the computer is what you're actually.
Just go directly to
Pull
save
that
right
down
now
a
for a
bit,
sec.
Yeah.
Just hit save, and then go to the desktop, call it whatever, just say sample 2 or something like that. .csv. And CSV is a comma separated value, okay? Hit save. So it's done, hit close, say sweet, thanks. So technically the file, that whole report is now in an itty bitty teeny little file on the desktop. Just close that so we can kind of get out to the desktop here for a sec.
So when you hit submit, it doesn't actually log into MITS for you.
It
Nope.
converts data, database data, into a file that you can then kind of like open up and then copy paste that stuff. If you open up that even in Word, just go down to the start button for just a second and go all programs and then accessories and then notepad. And then go file open. I just want to see what the actual file looks like. Go to your desktop and you'll have to change it from text down at the bottom to all. The next one down.
Oh, I'm sorry. The next
Yeah,
toolbar
the
down.
next drop down.
Breaking everything.
And then just see if you can find your little CSV file and then hit open. That's what it literally is. And so basically it just has comma separated little teeny values that got pulled out of the system. And they're all in a specific order so that when we submit it, they know how to map it up and stuff like that. So that's all the little file does. Just so you can kind of see what a physical CSV file looks like.
And it's virtually exactly everything copied each, the amount, how many, your tag number, the date. Bam.
So the Adilas version is just for you to kind of look it over and kind of see what's there
And
what's
also
going on.
see where it comes from. So see, if you see this tag and this is a tag you weren't using and you remember for whatever reason because you're the only one doing this, you can then go in, edit the PO, and put the new plant tag with that invoice on there.
Oh, okay.
Or if you forgot one, you're like, oh crap, I gotta.
Or if you forgot that other step, would that be kind of what you're talking about too?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Exactly. So like Gray Vape, it came in, I know it had a plant tag. I'm glad I opened this invoice because I wouldn't have known. So you'd be having your bud tenders pretty much looking to see that there is a tag here, especially initially when you're first putting everything in. It's really important that you're double checking. Things like discounts or accessories, anything that doesn't contain cannabis, you're not going to have to worry about these packaging tags. And for those of you who aren't in the cannabis industry, thank you so much for bearing with us. But let's see, so that, we already closed out our cart, we did. We were in the MITS homepage. So classic homepage, system reports, view custom code and reports, and it's MMJ operations page, and that's how you get to the MITS homepage. And that's where all those, and soon it's going to be able to pull all your patient files and things like that. I'm pretty sure it's already capable of doing so. I just don't think that they have an access point within MITS yet. And then that way it'll kind of do away with all of the reports that you have to do to the state.
What about manifests from Adilas?
Now we are no longer doing manifests because MITS does that for you. MITS will take all the packages and things like that, and if I can get MITS up and running, I'm happy to touch more on that kind of stuff as well because I know it's all required. But as far as that goes, it's within MITS, so when you kind of report and create your packages, that's when it then automatically generates a transportation manifest and it automatically sends it off to the state. You do have to print it off and have it signed. When you receive it, you now receive it within MITS, so if there are any discrepancies, you can automatically adjust it right then and there when you receive or reject. So that's just a whole nother.
Yeah, I was familiar with that, but I guess where I was getting at, you still have to use MITS. Use like the overall. You can input all the data you want through Adilas, but at the end of the day, you still have to go into MITS.
MITS is pretty much
Okay.
in the butt, but yes, it's a mandatory and it's everything that you're doing on this side. There is ways to make it easier as far as just sending the reports, but as far as the plants and stuff like that, I still have to talk to Steve about all of my ideas to how to make it easier, and the plant tags make sense. So
You better get busy, lady. You're falling behind.
We love ideas. We love ideas. Like, there's no way that we can think of all this. You're having me up there giving a demo, and I'm like, how the heck do you spell sativa? Like, I don't know anything about your industry per se. But what we do is we have a product that is actually very flexible and can be kind of plug and play, so it can play accordingly. So we rely heavily on you guys for ideas and suggestions, and like, oh, create these package things. That would make it so much easier, and like, we love it. It's good stuff.
And Steve will totally work with you. Like, the more you want it customized, I'm going to show you guys our page. We have our own homepage that was actually built by Steve for us based on keeping track of our sales. Oops, breaking everything. Let's see. And this is just an example of how they can customize it for you. So, our logo, which will be your logo once you go within your Adilas, and then in our choosers, we actually have a Giving Tree chooser. So now, kind of looks like our regular old dispensary homepage. Wow, we're busy. Nice. No sativa. That's another thing. Business name. If you put a business name over a patient's name, it trumps their name. So if they are diabetic or they get a special thing or you need to put a note, you can put this, it'll trump it, and that's what the bud tenders will see. So if you get them to sign, has a bad cold, don't shake hands. It's a nice way to communicate without actually having to communicate. So then if you scroll down, you can actually see we've built up different algorithms for our bud tenders to then, it's kind of a competition. Whoever's number one gets a prize for whoever has the highest sales. So, I mean, it's customizable. It's all 100% yours, and you can pick the colors, even as simple as that. So that's kind of what.
Why don't you show them your My Cart favorite? Sorry about that.
Oh no, you're totally fine. Yeah, I definitely have a million created. So. Okay. My Cart favorites, also known as smart buttons. Absolutely wonderful if you have a touchscreen device, if you have a certain set price that's set in stone and you don't want anybody else doing any weird stuff, that's what it is. View, copy, use as your own, and these are ones that you'll customize, that you'll create. Use as your own. And once you've added this, as long as you don't log out of your Adilas, it keeps using these buttons. That's what I'm doing right now, is I'm assigning our buttons to my account. So we have buttons that apply discounts, and so what it does is it takes our 8s and it automatically takes off a certain dollar amount in order to get it to the price point. We have our different buttons that if I want to go in, what do we have at the $40 price? Here's my different ones, here's my quantity, and I can literally build an 8-ounce so fast if I needed to. Say that this person needed this and some of this, and we're going to add an 1/8 of this. I've just literally built an ounce like that, no problem. Maybe not an ounce, quarter less than an ounce. Bam. And I didn't have to go in and adjust this price or go and search out this strain. They're literally all right here. I plugged them in. This is what I want at this price point, and it's automatically going to put them on my invoice at the price point that I've set. So if I then enable my smart button and add it to cart, it's going to ask me, where is your cart? What kind of cart do you want to start? There we are. And now I have all my plant tags associated with each one, as well as my quantity over here. Now that's really expensive. No one wants to pay that. So we'll go into, again, my favorites now that we're within the cart. And I can now put a discount. My discount doesn't have a tag item, but it does have a -1 of $95, bringing down my $320 ounce to $225. And there's still tax, all that. And again, no plant tag, or no tag on the discount because it's not going to look up the discount. Does that make sense? So my favorites are really, really neat. They're all completely customizable, and I can show you how to do that within Bob Marley, so I'm not messing. So I don't want to create this cart. This is actually happening, and this is real time, so I just got to escape. Clear cart. Done. All good. All right. I'm going to log out because I don't want to get in trouble with the boss man.